Hey, the G.I. Joe Classified series line has been out for a while now, and they keep adding cool figures to this line. But which figure is the best? I've invited some of my friends to the channel, and we're going to figure this out. We're each going to share our top 5 favorite, and then at the end of the video, we will determine the greatest G.I. Joe Classified series figure there is. While this intro is playing, go ahead and hit that like button.
Yo, Joe. Talking comics, here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
All right, so we have Johnny and Brian and Mike and myself, and we're all going to determine the greatest G.I. Joe classified figure there is. And yeah, we have a scientific method we're going to use. There's 3 of us that are going to go through our top 5, and then Mike is going to be the ultimate judge to decide the best G.I. Joe classified series figure.
Well, he is a scientific method in himself as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it works. We got the expert in to do that for us. So let's get straight into it, though. No more lollygagging.
My number 5 favorite classified G.I. Joe action figure is the Crimson Guard Commander. Reason why is, and you'll see this as a theme in my list, it is a trooper, which are my favorite by far. Cobra, which will also be another spoiler warning for the rest of my list. And he has an old school M16. How cool is that? And I like that he's in more formal wear. Like, this is a Monday through Thursday Cobra Trooper. This isn't casual Friday. This is Monday through Thursday. And he is my number 5 favorite trooper. Somewhat lack of accessories, but like a lot of the classified, carries all the accessories.
I don't think it's lack of accessories. He's got
compared to the Cobra, more of the trooper.
I'm just saying,
like the Cobra Trooper has so much.
But I'm just saying he has rifle, pistol, and sword. That's
you go over the top with the other troop builders. I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
So, yeah, and the one downside is his backpack just floats on his back. It doesn't have kind of a fake strappy thing going, which I don't like. And this came up in the bazooka figure that didn't make my list. That the backpack is free floating. They don't make the illusion that it's an actual backpack. So
that was kind of a thing in the 3 3/4 line. I don't think anyone had straps.
Yeah, I appreciate the straps, because when you bump the scale, you're obligated to add that kind of detail.
Okay.
So this is my
number 5. Wow.
That way you can only focus. Okay, number 4. And this is not a diversity hire on my part, I will say. This is a genuine like. It is also the first Joe of my top 5 list, and that is Spirit. I think his face paint, a little Freudian slip to make it sound a little racist there. I love that he's a scout with a sniper rifle, more of a hunting rifle with some wood grain in there. I think that looks great. He does have straps to make it look like a realistic backpack. He, of course, has a bald eagle. It's important to note that he's the only Joe that would be allowed to have a pet bald eagle, because you cannot do that as a non-Native American. You can get arrested if you have a bald eagle flag if you're not a Native American. But yeah, I like the blue with the contrasting khaki pants. And I just think he's a great looking figure. I think they nailed the skin tone for a Native American. Kind of like the Italian gentleman they used in the littering commercial, the right sort of shade of brown.
So,
but yeah, he is
so just to interrupt for a second. Airborne would also be allowed to have a pet bald eagle.
Oh, I did not know that Airborne. Is Airborne the parachuter guy?
Hence the name. Yes.
Yeah. I would, as a action figure designer, I'd be nervous making a Spirit action figure. That it would not come out. It would come out as a caricature, but it doesn't. I think it comes out great. So he is my number 4. Number 3, we're going to go back to the troopers, and this is kind of a cheat. It's kind of a tie for number 3 is Python Patrol Viper and regular Viper. I don't have a regular Viper, but Python Patrol is just a repaint. But I actually like the Vipers better than the regular Cobra Troopers. Although the Cobra Troopers, I think, have them beat on accessories and the removable helmet. But I like how they kind of emulate Cobra Commander a little bit. They emulate the face mask Cobra Commander, not the hood Cobra.
Do you have the goggles on over the mask?
No.
Okay.
I think that looks ridiculous. Because what's the point? But yeah, simple figure, great accessories. So yeah, and the reason one of the other Python Patrol, the bat, did not make my list is because I think the colors look garish, but not garish enough like the Cobra Trooper Python Patrol that's like yellow and green. But I don't have him, so I can't have him on my list. So that's number 3.
I've got the regular Vipers of those, and I like them a lot. They're really good figures.
I might get. They have like what, the 3-pack you can get now.
I believe the 3-pack has 2 blue, 1 gray.
Yeah,
But not that gray, not a little, a little closer to it.
right.
And it's got the like blast.
Yes. So I will probably get that. I have 2 of these already. Number 2, we're into our top 2. We're in the heavy hitter, and this is a combination of one of my favorite characters from the cartoon and one of the best renditions in action figure form. Barbecue.
Okay.
The Boston native. He's also kind of hard to find. I got lucky, found him on the pegs at Target, my local Target. But he's also featured in my favorite G.I. Joe American Hero cartoon episode, The Viper. I think that would be a good episode for Real American Brian. It's my favorite episode.
I got that one as well, also from Target, and the cashier said pork chop sandwiches. I was like, nice try.
Like, yeah, that's
Nice
below
try.
torch, dumbass.
Yeah.
But no, he's got the cool axe with the punching thing in it. I mean, I don't
I
recall
will
that.
say, do you find it pretty off balance due to all like the pack
The
and everything?
backpack, you gotta. Well, I do that. I do the thing where you kind of sits like this to stay balanced.
He's in the back on my display, resting up against the wall.
But he's a simple figure, but they have a lot of details, a lot of extra little paint apps, like the green on the gauge on his chest thing, and the detail like on his tanks is really nicely done. They didn't mail it in on this guy, and I think he's really great.
Would have been cool to have removable helmet, but
yeah, but the problem with the real helmets is it makes it bulkier sometimes.
Yeah, right.
So and it also would increase.
Well, sorry, I should have said 2 heads, one with helmet, one with
head swaps. Yeah,
that's more of. Yeah.
Ready and my number 1. There was no doubt in my mind on this one. It's the Alley Viper. Hello, I'm a sucker for replaceable helmets and flip top things. Even the early was it Breaker had the little plastic eye shield that went down.
Yeah, right.
That I was a sucker for that, even though it broke very easily. But yeah, the shirt on accessories, he's aside from Falcon, or is it Flint that has the shotgun? I like that there's a Cobra.
Flint
guy.
has a shotgun.
Yeah, I like that there's a Cobra guy with a shotgun. Weird it has a scope. Maybe it's not supposed to be a shotgun. I imagine it's because he's got a riot shield. I imagine him going like storming the beaches of Schaumburg to put down a riot at Woodfield Mall and shooting up the kids at Build-A-Bear with it.
What I appreciate about the Alley Viper is he's not camouflaged to be hidden. He wants you to see him coming.
Right.
And be afraid.
They're going to be lined up in the streets, like pushing you to the people shredders.
So you have to be a badass to have that kind of outfit and walk in.
I assumed it was
these
like
are the guys that going after Cobra has conquered America. These are the ones that'll put down any of the sort of insurgents.
I assumed it was like for hunting, so his friends could see him.
Yes, Deer couldn't. Deer would see this as regular camouflage.
Right. If I can retort, I bought that, saw it out in the wild as an impulse buy, bought it, took it home, loved all the accessories, hated the figure, gone. It's in a group of figures I just threw on eBay for whatever, 30 bucks.
I struggled with the shield to get it on right, and you do kind of have to take the hand off first. Yeah. And orange blue, Chicago Bears. It's the Bears. So yeah, that's my number 1. I have 2 of them now, by the way.
All right. Well, that is a good list to start with. So my number 5 is going to be Zartan, the color changing skin variant, of course, because why not? But Zartan was always one of my favorites growing up. I loved the Dreadnoks, and I think they did a phenomenal job with the classified version of him. The little hood, I think, without the hood, I think he looks a little creepy. Not a big fan, but with the hood, a master of disguise.
I will tell you, like if you had an extra one of those, that would be a good conversion body because of the head, bald head. You can kind of do what you want. Take off the pads and everything. You can turn him into a brand new figure, like some other Dreadnought, for example.
Yeah, pretty easily. There's someone, I wish I knew their name on Instagram. that did conversions of all the dreadnoughts and then created some dreadnoughts of his own. So he has like
Yeah,
this
and that's
massive.
the same guy that did Zanya as well.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah, they're really good.
lots of cool stuff from him. But my number 4 is the same as Brian's number 4, Spirit. I think it's just a phenomenal figure. I think there's possibly more detail in this figure than any of the other Joes in the line, at least.
That wouldn't surprise me how good it turned out.
Yeah, and lots of different paint areas and applications
Like
and
you
stuff.
look at that Spirit figure, and then you look at any Marvel Legends in the last 10 years, and you're like, what the fuck? Where's the
Yeah.
effort?
Yeah, we're not swearing though, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Such an awesome figure. Big fan of Spirit. My number 3 is Storm Shadow, but probably not the Storm Shadow that most people would choose. Got the Arctic Camo Storm Shadow, and mostly for nostalgic reasons. This was my Storm Shadow growing up, and I can remember the day that I got him and played with him quite a bit. So the fact that they stayed so true to that one with the classified, having it scaled up and more detailed now as an adult, is awesome. And I
Were
love
you
it.
surprised that one came out before the original?
Very surprised. And I'm surprised also that they haven't announced a repaint of his version 2 costume, because all they have to do is repaint this same figure and they have it.
Is it the movie one that's trash?
The movie one's not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I got it.
there's a
All
stack of
the-
them at Walmart right now with your name on it.
There's
Yeah.
3 of them and 6 Lady J's ready for you.
Yeah. Baroness isn't selling either, which is
Yeah.
surprising.
Girl figures don't sell.
I think they all got the bike one actually.
Maybe. My number 2 is Sarge. I had the Action Force Sarge, but when they announced this one just is so much cooler. It looks much more like the original 3 3/4 Sarge, and I needed him to lead my Joes. And
Did you try to pose him with his like little whip? Did you try to pose him like under his arm? Because that doesn't really stay very well.
No.
I tried it, and like in the picture, not so good. So you got to do more of a pointing thing.
No, I didn't. I was happy with him just
So
pointing.
what
at
did you do
people.
with your Action Force one? Did you relegate it into a bin somewhere?
It's right here, actually.
Way to lead him into what he wanted to show off anyway.
Or...
My Action Force Sarge turned into Larry Hama.
Tunnel rat.
Yeah, so that is my number 2. My number 1 overall is the Bat, the normal Bat, not the Python Patrol Bat. I love it. This was, again, one of my favorite toys as a kid. I remember the day that I got it and I played with it a ton, and they stayed so true to the smaller version and just scaled it up and made it more detailed. And it's super cool. I love it. I got the clear chest piece off Etsy, but other than that,
That's a cool upgrade you added, but even stock, it comes with a damaged chest piece and clean one, damaged helmet.
Yep.
It reminds me of Battle Armor He-Man back in the day.
Yeah. So I think this is the only classified figure that I've doubled up on. I have 2 bats, and the other one has all the battle damage stuff on it. So I have like the battle damaged bat and then the undamaged bat.
I like
a
taking
Python
the
bat
hand
and a
off.
regular bat.
I have 3 of them because I'm extra, as the kids say. And if you take the hand off, you put that in the backpack. It's like just storing a hand for later.
Yeah, I also have the Python bat, and I plan on getting the Crimson bat. So I'm going to have like 1 of each bat, but I have 2 of the originals.
Oh, nice humble brag.
I mean, no, I'm just explaining my.
Bats and Vipers. If I see one on the shelf, I'll grab another one.
I feel bad for myself for impulsing the bat at my local. I don't know. We'll call it a local toy store, but it's the type of toy store where they're going to have something you want, but it's marked up. And so I bought my first bat there for 35, and then maybe 2 weeks later they popped up everywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have my figures with me. However, I thought this might happen. So I use this device here to take a picture of something that happens to be on Biron's list. That his number 5 is also my number 5, which is not planned. It's like Mike and I doing ratings on some old show that people used to not really watch. But the CGs, Crimson Guard, great figure, like Biron said, all the accessories. I'm most likely going to take one head off and put another, like a normal head on, that'll be one just, he's in the middle of changing from his day-to-day costume into that one.
If Chuckles comes out, Chuckles' head's going on because he's in disguise.
You could put a female head on and have it be Laura.
That is true. So you mentioned Marvel Legends, Biron, and I'm not here to trash them like you are. I will say, though, the figures are very interchangeable with classified. So from a conversion standpoint, Marvel Legends heads on classified bodies and vice versa, where appropriate.
Yeah.
Like I've used Cable's body or...
I'm talking the whole package of accessories and paint apps and stuff.
But I could easily get like I don't know, like, a female Marvel Legends character that might, without anything crazy on the face, fit in right on this. So big fan of this one. I have two of them. They look really good. And yeah, love the accessories, like Biron said. I don't mind so much the backpack. I think it's fine, but I get what you're saying and why it doesn't feel like it's, on.
It really comes out in Outback, the Outback figure. You can really.
My number 4, not what did you say, Biron? Like diversity pick or whatever. Yeah. I got to give some props to Stalker here. This is a great looking figure. It's some people complained he looks too old. You know what my complaint is? He's 80. So
he fought in Vietnam, man.
I'm pretty sure he's 80. He looks damn good for 80.
Don't crack.
I did not keep the over, like, what he was wearing on top of that on. Kind of like
terrorist scarf thing.
Yeah. I really like, he's got some good weapons. I have him, pulling the gun out there. Good beret, good overall figure. To me, he is not only a great figure in the comics, but from a action figure standpoint, he's like a very prototypical G.I. Joe looking figure.
He also, I think, am I correct? Like he has like some old school weapons, like an old MP40 from World War II is one of his weapons. Like he doesn't.
I don't.
He does have some older weapons. I don't remember exactly what they are, but they were older than the rest of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Stalker is my number 4 there, and I'm going to beat you guys and put Spirit at number 3.
Oh, right. You win.
It is so good. I mean, so figure wise is a base / repaint of a Duke Flint officer, setup, but looks better than all of them combined.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great figure. Face looks good. Skin tone's great. The hair is perfect.
The hair, one bit of hair going over the headband.
Oh, it's great. And then Freedom has the wings out and in 2 different versions. Awesome gun, great accessories. It's, it could have easily been number 1. It's that good of a figure. Number 2, he's Mindbender, I love. So Sarge's hands, because I wanted the gripping hands, I have him holding a brain in a hand, another hand, because why wouldn't he be holding the brain? Dare I say I like it a little more because it's in the hard to get and it's kind of a flaunting it for the poors out there? Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with flaunting figures. It's me with the aircraft carrier 1986. You know what I mean? Little bit of brag going on. Great accessories because it was an expensive one. I believe it was $40. Comes in like you open it up and it's like his lab and everything, looking like the brainwave scanner. I did add in the other hands to make it a little more gripping. I wasn't big on what he had. He has all these cool accessories, but not a good way to hold them. So I had to put in those hands. He's also got a little case for the brain as well, but really good figure, soft goods on the cape. And even if you take the cape off, he's walking around with this in public. I mean, it's shirtless would have been fine. Shirtless with straps held onto your crotch, literally ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, it just screams scientist.
It screams scientist. What did you say, beer on Monday through Thursday?
Yep.
And he's at the manhole Friday through Sunday. I don't know.
And this guy used to be a dentist too.
He had one malpractice suit, and now this is what we have.
So we have a dentist and a used car salesman are 2 of the ringleaders of.
Well, Cobra Commander is a
used car salesman, right?
So
yeah, it was a used car salesman that he got into a pyramid scheme.
Which, side note, on a personal level, I love that because that was my world for a while. So not intentionally, but I love that. So that's my number 2. Are we ready for my number 1? Boom.
Yes.
Another flex. Another flex. Serpentor. There's no better figure currently than this, in my opinion. Looks great, bigger, better, badassery, and he's on the chariot. He's got a sword.
Is
got the
that fair
staff.
though? Do you count the accessory? Because that would be like if they came out with Keelhaul and you picked him number 1 because he came with the USS Flag.
Yeah, and I will when that happens. Thank you.
I think it's fair.
Okay.
Well, because here's the thing, Biron, when Keelhaul comes out and I drop $1,000 or more on it,
Yeah.
it's going to
It'll
be in this
be your
show.
new number 1.
It's going to be
So
number
if-
1 on that video.
So before we get to the final ratings with Mike, I do want to say I was a little worried because Serpentor my top 3 was easy for me. My 4th and 5th I struggled with, and he barely got bumped out. And when you were going through your list, I was like, oh man, no one's going to pick Serpentor, and I'm going to feel really shitty. So I'm really glad that you picked him and got him on there.
So
I
right
have
now you're
one-
saying Serpentor was 6 for you right now?
Well, my like 4th, 5th, 6th spots were all
Depending on the day of the
basically
week, they
tied.
could change. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let's throw before we go. Sorry, Brian, it's your show, but I was going to say a couple honorable mentions.
Sure, go for it.
The not Cobra infantry, but Cobra officer. Now, and not the. So I've had to rank Cobra officer, Cobra trooper, Cobra infantry. Cobra officer, just a better overall look, really good accessories. I like it. Cobra trooper, I believe, is left-handed, which I thought was interesting. That's a good one too. I have it set up as like a more like a, and then I've got several for the troop builder, regular infantry. Those are pretty good. And then as far as Joe honorable mentions outside of that, there were some good ones. I actually, my version of Roadblock, which is the 3rd version, that looks more like him, is a really good figure. And that was actually kind of close to making it. It's a good figure. So it would have been with the helmet off. You know,
the early tech stuff is bad, so I think that's why you don't see a lot of that on the list. The ones that
I have a couple honorable mentions myself. Tomax and Zaymont were almost
which one though? You got to pick one.
Yeah, you can't waste.
Well, I was going to cheat and choose them both. So that would be my Cobra honorable mention. My Joe honorable mention would be Gung Ho. I really like how he turned out. Yeah,
I have the second one. That's the turquoise, old school.
Yeah.
My biggest beef with it is the scale seems off. He seems too big. He seems like he's like, 6'5", 260 pounds. And yes, he's a Marine and a tough guy, but he's not bigger than Roadblock. So
no, I don't know. I like him big. I'm okay with. I wish there was more diversity in size in the line. Like I'm okay with Gung Ho being the size he is. I wish Roadblock was a little bit bigger than that.
It's almost like they said, well, we need another figure to be on the Roadblock chassis, so to speak. So
yeah, they have to reuse to
Gung Ho's there. So I made my Gung Ho. He's kind of like running to make him look a little more and just like stout. And I also have in the background a little forced perspective, so he blends in okay.
Do you have any honorable mentions? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, since we're speaking of scale, is Serpentor bigger than the rest?
Yes, and rightfully so.
Okay,
well. He is Serpentor. If I were to line him up next to Roadblock and Gung Ho, would be taller and bigger.
I just saw a picture of him next to Mindbender, and he was like half an inch taller.
Yeah, and mine's hard to tell because it's he's on the chariot there, but yeah, he is taller, which makes sense.
He's grown in a lab.
Do you have any honorable mentions, Brian?
My honorable mentions for the Joes, I would actually go with Outback, just because the level of detail in the face sculpt and the facial printing looks so great. Even though he's not my favorite, like he's one I was surprised by, where I wasn't a huge fan of him in the comics and stuff, in the cartoon, but he really intrigued me. And I'm gonna go with Zarana for my Cobra.
Yeah, I was gonna throw out there as an honorable mention as well. Really good figure.
Okay, well, that's our list. So now we're going to turn it over to our scientific method of dwindling this down to a top 3. And how we're going to do that is Mike is going to choose the top one from each of our list, and that'll give us the top 3. And he'll rank those 3 into first, second, and third place. So, Mike, do you want to pick one? Who went first? Brian went first. go ahead and pick your favorite from Brian's list.
All right. I'm gonna pick my favorite Joe that I made my own little list. And again, this was just looking at a website, and I realized now that the website was incomplete because it didn't have Serpentor and Mindbender on it, but whatever. My favorite Joe of all the Joes was Spirit, and it made all of your lists, so I don't think that should surprise anyone. So that
Okay.
Spirit figure, I looked at that and said, ooh, if I saw this in a store, I would probably consider picking this up. So
Oh,
it's a good figure.
it's so good it would turn a non-collector into a collector.
There are two figures that I would actually consider buying, and he is one of them.
Wow.
And the other one is not on any of your lists, so I'm going to save that for last. But
Ooh.
So that'll be a Mike honorable mention. But
that'll be Mike honorable mention. Yeah.
so next was my list. What was your favorite from my list?
This was probably my favorite Cobra figure, and this was the Bat. The
Battle Android Trooper.
Is that what that stands for? The Crimson. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, if you're ever not sure, in every issue there's a little asterisk telling you what it is.
Just in case you forget.
Yes,
single
that
time.
was my favorite Cobra figure, and that made at least a couple of your lists.
So that is our list, and the top one from Johnny's list.
Was one that I did not see before I actually this episode viewed, and I actually had to Google it. Would be Mindbender. I would actually, if I saw that in the store, I might consider buying it.
You won't.
Yeah. It's such a good figure.
That
Mike,
was a cool looking fig. I know nothing
The
about
one that
it.
looks like most likely to be in a naughty movie.
Yeah,
it's such a
or
great figure.
What was that movie?
Zardoz.
Zardoz. Yeah, it's kind of a Zardoz kind.
Guns are good.
The joke's on you, Mike, because it probably will never be in a store.
It won't.
Probably not. No.
Well, I mean, I could see them doing a repaint and putting it in one of the like retro packages at Walmart
Maybe.
or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to figure out what is the greatest figure ever. Oh, almost time. Mike, let's get to this honorable mention before we get to the top 3 all time.
Well, first of all, I want to say I was happy that a female figure popped up in the honorable mentions with the Zorana. I was disappointed with the 2 Baronesses I saw.
Yeah.
And I think, are the glasses separate?
Yeah.
They're attached, but they're not molded to the face.
They're not molded to the face. Yeah, I think that's what made it look stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like just in figures in general, glasses are separate and end up falling off.
Yeah.
So these are separate, but they're in there. If that
They're glued on. They're a separate piece that's glued on.
Yeah.
Okay. They did not look good.
No.
Cover Girl, I think, is going to come out soon.
Yeah,
that one actually
really
looks pretty decent. And
Lady J, I think, is a good figure.
Yeah, it looks decent too. The other honorable mention that no one mentioned, and I can see why no one mentioned this, because it's a ridiculous looking figure, but Profit Director Destro.
I have
his Money in the Bank briefcase and his flippin' clothes.
He's very fun.
The
that's
a
Destro.
Fig. A lot of people love the Pimp Destro. It's not for me, but
it's
a lot of people
awesome.
Okay, so it's time for Mike to tell us what is the 3rd best G.I. Joe classified figure.
3rd best?
Yes.
I would say, in my mind, it would be the Mindbender.
All right, so that would be Johnny's choice.
Yeah.
And the 2nd best
would be the Crimson, not Crimson, the Bat figure.
All right, that's my choice.
Yes.
Which means the best figure,
which was everyone's choice,
well,
including mine.
I made everyone's list.
It's not fair to say it's Biron's pick. It's all of ours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but it was taken from his list. But yes,
he
we
went
all
first.
chose Spirit,
Yes,
and Mike
definitely.
determined that Spirit is the best G.I. Joe classified figure. So you heard it
Scientifically
here.
proven the best.
Yes, I mean, our scientific method has proven that Spirit is definitely the best of the G.I. Joe classified line.
Don't pollute.
So, thank you for watching. Now you know what the best figure is, and knowing is half the battle. Like this video, subscribe, tune in next time.
Yo, Joe.
That was a real American Brian. And now you know, because knowing is half the Brian.